What if you could get a 5K display for your Mac that doesn't cost more than $1,000? Well, ASUS is out with a brand new 5K ProArt display that runs just $799, and I've been checking it out for the past few days. So if you're looking for a basic display that has 5K resolution and pretty good color, maybe this is the one. First though, why do Mac users care so much about having a 5K display? Well, because of the way macOS scaling works and Apple's preference for Retina displays, macOS design elements are expected to be a certain size no matter how big the display is. The result is a sharper image on a 5K 27-inch display compared to a 4K display at 27 inches with 1440p scaling. Unfortunately, there's been relatively few 5K options available for the last few years beyond the Apple Studio display and the Samsung Viewfinity S9. Along with the 5K resolution, it also features a 60Hz panel that ASUS says gets up to 400 nits with standard content and up to 500 nits with HDR. It has a 1500:1 contrast ratio along with the ProArt reputation for color accuracy. When it comes to the design of the ASUS display, I find the display portion clean and minimal. There are thin bezels on 3 sides and a slightly bulgy chin at the bottom. The chin has sort of a brushed or ribbed design to it with the logo front and center. On the right side, there are 6 control buttons and a thumbstick for navigating the settings menu. As a Mac user who won't be adjusting display settings frequently, I would prefer the buttons actually be on the back of the display. Around back, you'll see that the display is pretty thin overall and connected to a silver stand. Like many displays, this stand is in 2 pieces and it's metal wrapped in plastic. And the relatively small base has the ProArt logo and, for whatever reason, the resolution and an Energy Star sticker. Like, why? The stand is fine and allows for quite a bit of height adjustment, swivel, tilt, and even full rotation. The one thing that slightly bothers me about the stand is the cable management pass-through is too low on the stand, which isn't a problem if you have the stand all the way down, but that is really low. So at any normal height, you're going to see the cables in the middle of the stand. One thing I do like about this display is that it does have a built-in power supply, so you don't have some big ugly brick like other displays. For connectivity, there is a primary USB-C connection for the display signal and offers 96 watts of power to keep a laptop charged up. You can also connect an HDMI or DisplayPort and utilize the second USB-C port for data, enabling a KVM feature that allows you to share a single display with up to 2 different devices. You can simply press the button on the front to change to another input, and the bottom USB-A and C ports and the rear USB-A port will switch between the 2 computers you have connected along with the display. Unfortunately, those ports are going to be limited to just 5 gigabits per second, which means using those built-in ports for any storage like external SSDs is just not going to be a good option. Instead, I would choose something like the Element Hub from channel partner CalDigit to add additional USB-A and USB-C ports. The Element Hub is a Thunderbolt 4 USB 4 hub with 8 ports at up to 40 gigabits per second. On the front, there are 4 10 gigabit USB-A ports that can run most external USB SSDs at full speed, or they can be used for thumb drives, mouse dongles, SD card readers, phone or watch chargers, and other accessories. On the back, you have 3 Thunderbolt 4 USB 4 ports for connecting the fastest SSDs, USB accessories, or even up to dual 4K displays at 60Hz on PC and dual 6K displays on Mac. The Element Hub is fully powered and can provide all the power for whatever accessories you have connected and up to 60 watts of power for your computer in this tiny little package. And the Element Hub can even act as a standalone charger when your laptop is not connected, making this a great desktop addition to your Mac, PC, or tablet. So if you need more ports for your desktop, laptop, or tablet, CalDigit has you covered with the Element Hub, and you can save 20% for Black Friday using the links in the description below. And my thanks to CalDigit for sponsoring this video. The first thing I did with the ASUS 5K display is use my calibration tool to put the specs to test. In some cases, it was better than ASUS claimed, and in some cases, it wasn't. With all of these settings left in the default, out-of-box configuration and native color mode, the ASUS outputs 89% of Adobe RGB and 99% of P3 color, which is right on target for P3, but a little shy of the 95% Adobe RGB spec that's listed. For color accuracy, it scored a Delta E score average of 1.13, which is less than 2 or pretty much imperceptible color deviations from what is expected. But when it comes to backlight and panel uniformity, I found some issues. The backlight has some pretty obvious bleeding, pretty much on all 4 sides. This is even obvious up top when watching letterboxed videos. I'm sure most people won't care, but I notice it. When it comes to color uniformity across the panel, I actually did not see good results. There were hot spots, and the panel just looked very uneven. I saw that it was especially bad wherever the mouse was and realized that there was some sort of local dimming going on. Once I found the option to turn off local dimming, the display looked much more uniform across the panel when displaying colors full screen. With local dimming turned off, the contrast improved from 1500 to 1 to 1700 to 1. But unfortunately, that did nothing to solve the backlight bleed issues. And to be clear, there are no perfect LCD panels out there, and this is performing about as well as the Samsung Viewfinity S9, which is also a 5K panel and on sale for like $650 right now for Black Friday. I'll leave a link below. The ASUS also gets noticeably dimmer at the edges with regular viewing distance. As I move toward and away from the left side, you can see the left side getting brighter and darker. This may be an effect of the Lux Pixel anti-glare coating, which is supposed to minimize reflections without losing detail. Brightness shifting aside, it performs about as well as most matte displays that I've used. And it actually does a good job of hiding glare and reflections, which makes it nice if you have hard to control lighting. There's supposedly HDR in the display, but I'm not going to mess around with that on regular backlit LED panels anymore because it's always just terrible or doesn't really work. You really need an OLED or a lot of dimming zones to get something out of it. There are just a couple other things to mention about this display. Unlike the Studio display or the Samsung Viewfinity S9, there's no camera built into the display and the speakers are absolute trash. I can't understand why ASUS would spend any money putting them in. They're useless, and the only way to adjust them when connected to a Mac is to use the on-screen display and search through the items to find the volume and use the thumbstick to click, click, click over and then increase or decrease the volume. And that goes for brightness too. If you use Windows, ASUS has their Widget Center tool to make adjustments to the picture, but there's no utility for Mac. There's no Mac integration like you would get with the Studio display or even the BenQ MA series display. Wake and sleep time with the display is fine. It takes a number of seconds for the display to fully sleep and flashes blue for some reason, and wake time is also fine. Now, is the ASUS PA27JCV a good display to buy for your Mac? Well, like everything, it comes down to features and cost. The ASUS display was announced at $799 and it will probably start going on sale pretty soon, so keep an eye on the link below. For that $799, you get that coveted 5K resolution that makes your text look sharper and keeps screen elements the preferred size for macOS. The design is decent, you can connect multiple computers or a console, and the colors look good, making photo and video editing a breeze, even if I suck at it. You won't get any macOS integration, a webcam, speakers worth a dang, or a decent built-in hub. Plus, the backlight bleed is noticeable if you're planning to watch a lot of full-screen video. I know that sounds like a lot of negatives, but really these are the same issues you're going to find with just about any display that doesn't cost $1,600. If you only care about 5K resolution for your Mac, or you're okay adding speakers and a camera if needed, then the ASUS is just one of a couple 5K displays you can actually find, and it will get the job done. If you're wondering why the Studio display is twice the cost at $1,600, look at the all-metal build, the better backlight and screen uniformity, the built-in camera, speakers, and macOS integration. It's just a better product. If you do care about macOS integration and you're okay with a 4K display, the BenQ MA series is only $460 for a 27-inch. The other 5K option you have is the Samsung Viewfinity S9, which also debuted at $1,600. That's a full 5K smart display and has its own apps, speakers, and camera, but has been heavily discounted and is on sale for around $150 less than the ASUS right now. That display looks as good as the ASUS, but suffers from the same backlight issues that the ASUS does. But if 5K on a budget is the primary driver, I would probably choose that over the ASUS based on pricing alone. So that's the ASUS PA27JCV, and it's finally adding to the short list of 5K displays for Mac. Does this display look like the cheaper 5K display you were hoping for, or is something missing? Let me know in the comments down below what you think about it, or if you have any other questions. If you want to see my video comparing the Studio display to the Samsung Viewfinity S9, you can check out that video right over here. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked it, hit subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next time.